Hey guys, this is the second part of my vlogin up video. Um, I was gonna introduce a topic, but it was running a little bit too long, so it's not too long, but anyways, but it was running out. Anyways, okay. The topic we're gonna talk about is like when people say like LOL and stuff. Let's just start off with LOL. So, like, my theory, it's just a theory, but it's probably true. In the prehistoric times, around over 9 years ago, people were discussing, and they were like, man, we don't have that big of a vocabulary, so we need to come up with new words. And then they're like, oh, why don't we just make it easier and just put words together? So they were talking, and then they're like, well, L is a cool word because it's the 12th letter in the alphabet. Wait, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Yeah, 12th letter in the alphabet. So they were like, oh, well, that's half of 24, and I know my math. So they were like, yeah, it's the 12th letter in the alphabet. So they're like, we should definitely use that. Then they're like, oh, let's use O, because O is the first letter of 1, so 1 is the best, because 1 is awesome, and 1 is number 1. Oh crap. Okay, anyways. And so they're like, oh, let's just use L again because it'll make it more easier, so they don't have to say different words, so they don't have to think about other words in the alphabet. So they're like, okay, LOL. But a few years later, fast forward, and then so they're nowadays people are like, people are like, almost everybody knows what LOL means, but I mean like the real meaning of it. But a little bit before, a few years back, rewinding again. Okay, so then everybody was like, oh dude, I just learned about in history a new word that they used back then. They're like, oh, what is it? And they're like, oh, it's LOL. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And then another scenario, that this could be a bad scenario, so they're like, someone just walks up on the street, and then they're like, haha, I LOL. And then they're like, wait, what? And then they're thinking in their mind, they're like, oh, that must mean something. And then they're like, well, I don't want to sound stupid, so they're like, oh, it just probably means he loves old ladies. And then he's like, okay, he loves old ladies, and then you just smile back at him and pretend that you know what it means. And then that'll be bad because you'll have a bad reputation. Okay, well, that's not a bad reputation. Just depends on your age. Because if you're like my age, then if you love old ladies, that's kind of weird. But you know, then like that could be pretty bad. So yeah. And then they're like, or another scenario could mean, again, somebody thinks it stands for something, so they're like, oh, that means like leaving obnoxiously loudly or something like that. And they're like, oh man, and after this conversation he's gonna leave obnoxiously loud. So then, like, if he leaves the conversation, he's gonna be loud and obnoxious, and we don't want that, do we? So then, that wouldn't be good manners. So it was like he had to keep on the conversation. so he couldn't yell or, you know, be loud and obnoxious. But that's just my theory. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below what you think LOL originated from. And maybe you could be right. You never know. Anyways, again, comment, rate, like, and subscribe if you want to see more videos. I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.